Playing Terraria on Expert is the true way of experiencing the game. Yes, it is definitely harder, everything deals more damage, and even the world itself tries to kill you at any given moment. But it's all worth it once you receive that juicy loot. I'm Kapu, and this is a foolproof way of defeating every boss in the game without cheesing and beating Terraria on Expert. Alright, Terraria on Expert. My first time playing the game actually was on the difficulty Expert 2. I even managed to get up to the Moonlord, but could never manage to beat him, so this video is also kind of my redemption story. There are 7 bosses right now that I can beat: the Eye of Cthulhu, the Eater of Worlds, Skeletron, the 3 optional bosses, King Slime, Queen Bee, and Deerclops, and of course the last boss and also the border before Hardmode, the Wall of Flesh. But first things first, I need to set up a safe space as my spawn for NPCs to move in. In short, I need a base, and I died the first time just at night hit. Oh my god, no, it's not smart. And 2 more times while trying to survive my first night. Then I died trying to explore the left side of my world. Thought I found a shrine in the desert, got disappointed, and then let myself be killed instead of taking like literally hours to kill one enemy. You know what, just kill me. Then I died again in the desert before finding my first chest. Oh, of course, nothing. And my first contact with the Crimson ended as expected too. I kept on dying and dying. Oh my god, no! Found my second chest, built myself cactus armor, found a pet, and my third chest, and my first life crystal and boots. This is actually the first crucial accessory I need for the first boss fight. Nice. I also need the ability to double jump and a hook to save myself from not falling to death all the time, and the best ore armor I could get my hands on. After a quick and deadly dive into the tundra, I wanted to reach the right end of the world, but slime started to fall from the sky. Oh god. Why? I then found 3 chests with 3 aglets inside, died 4 more times before I eventually made it to the ocean, got the angler, and actually found myself an enchanted sword. I then went back mining for more life crystals and enough gems to make myself a hook. I found some life crystals and more deaths that I could count. Holy shit. But I managed to get a full set of tungsten armor.
I see this as an absolute win.
I then spent some time making my base look pretty. Perfect timing to explain to you why I haven't used any of my life crystals that I've found yet. After reaching 7 hearts in Terraria, there's actually a good chance of either the Eye of Cthulhu or the Goblin army spawning. And since I was nowhere prepared to fight either the first boss of the game or literally an army of goblins, I wanted to wait before I upped my health. Plus I wanted at least a lava pit trap near my base for all of the invasion events to come. For that I needed lava, and I was still missing the double jump anyway, so equipped with new armor I opted for the underground jungle. Lava! Lava pit trap. And now I can finally use my life crystals and actually survive for a bit longer. I also found a band of regeneration, so now I really shouldn't die. You know, there's actually one good thing about dying that much in Terraria, and that is that my world is now littered with tombstones. And with that, I get a new friend, Abigail. I didn't have to wait long to try out my defenses. I got a blood moon just shortly after, got 3 money troughs, found a new pet, and afterwards I jumped straight back into the mines and got the last piece of accessory I needed, a cloud in a bottle. I then technically died to get back home, now having a new goal. I wanted the mini shark and the fossil armor for more range damage. The money I will generate passively, the desert fossil I have to farm, so the underground desert it is. I quickly found myself an extractinator and then had to put a hold into farming because my first boss was approaching, the Eye of Cthulhu. I'm prepared enough though. I'm not worried, I have everything I need to beat it. A fairly good melee weapon, the best ore armor I could get, double jump, health regeneration, and boots. So I chucked every buff potion I had so far and waited for the eye to spawn. The eye has 2 phases. In phase 1, it basically just whirls around you, hurling mini eyeballs at your face. They die in a single swing, and by keeping my distance I can dish out consistent damage. You shouldn't jump into lava though, that's stupid. Once the eye is around half health, things get a little scarier. It now starts to charge at me. Dodging becomes more important, and the lower health the eye has, the more it charges. Dodging and dealing damage, I slowly but surely withered it down, granting me the first victory over Terraria's bosses.
Yes! Yes!
With the eye dead, I also got one of the best items in the game, the Shield of Cthulhu. The fight against the eye took me a while, and that made me realize that I could use a better melee weapon. And since I had some gravitation potions, I took the opportunity to look for it in the sky, finding the Star Fury and some extra accessories I anyway needed. Also, my lack of potions could cause issues later on, so it took some time to start a small garden. But now it's time to go back into the underground desert, farming desert fossils, and after another tactical respawn, I built the fossil armor set. A quick mining session later, I topped off on my health as well, ended up in hell, dying just shortly after. I then respawned back on the surface to a blood moon, which I spent in my lava pit trap to farm some cash money, that I then spent on buying dynamite. Here's why. Before I enter hard mode, I want to make sure that my evil biomes are contained, so I blow up elevators next to them to prevent the spread. Also, I blow myself up occasionally. I then built housing in the desert, jungle, and ocean so I can traverse the overworld more quickly with pylons, went into the underground jungle to search for a beehive and better accessories, only upgrading my death counter though. We're on death number 43 by the way. Getting kind of impatient with the goblin army, I chose to Uno reverse the goblin scouts and go hunt for them instead, so I can spawn the event manually. Then slime started to rain from the sky, which I wasn't too mad about because that actually gives me the chance to fight my second boss, King Slime, which is arguably the easiest boss in the game, with my current loadout being absolutely overkill as well. And just don't get jumped on and try to contain the slimes spawning, then you should be absolutely fine. Keeping your distance, shooting him with maybe the Star Fury, occasionally going in for melee damage. I killed him just like that. Afterwards, I spawned the goblin army, letting my lava pit trap do all the work, spawning a blood moon right after to farm more money that I then used to buy the mini shark and some ammo. I then jumped back into the underground and searched for the goblin tinkerer, finding him pretty quickly, buying myself rocket boots, and most importantly, the tinkerer's workshop. I then crafted spectre boots and the blue horseshoe balloon, went on to find the shimmer, building housing next to it for easy access, and shimmered a mana and life crystal for a health and mana regeneration boost. My equipment is coming along pretty great, which made me feel confident enough in fighting the next boss on my list, which is the Eater of Worlds. I then spent some time blowing up the Crimson and again myself, died to an Eater of Souls, finishing the arena and spawning the Eater of Worlds. And if you have the same equipment at this stage as me, this fight is super easy. Just neglect every skill and strategy and just run straight into him. Literally, repeatedly, holding down left click, because you can face tank his ass. It's even better if you have a flail. Defeating him is no issue with that kind of equipment, and after showing even more dominance over that glorified danger noodle by literally equipping his corpse, I crafted shadow armor and went straight on to build the arena for Skeletron. Now that is a fight that I actually dread, because I remember in my first ever playthrough, which was on Terraria Expert, like I said, I got stuck on Skeletron for hours and days on end. So I made sure I was over-prepared, with a big arena, with a reforged mini shark, and good potions. And some extra motivational videos on YouTube. And with that, I spawned Skeletron. The fight is pretty straightforward. He has hands that try to grab you in a very inappropriate way, so focusing them down while keeping your distance is pretty crucial, hence the mini shark. And after killing both hands, he starts to spawn homing skulls. Dodging them can be quite tricky if you're too close. That's why I tend to stay further away to have more time to react to them. And so far this fight is going pretty great. I mean, granted, it takes ages, but wait a minute. Where's this music coming from? What are you doing? Don't press it! No! You're fucking kidding me. I slept through the day, crafted tungsten bullets for more damage output, spawned Skeletron again, and banished my magic mirror to the inventory where it belongs. Not this time. And then it's like following a recipe. Keep your distance, focus his hands, and use his spinning move against him by unloading on his face. Yeah. Doing that constantly, I managed to beat my fourth boss, leaving me only with Deerclops, Queen Bee, and the Wall of Flesh left before I can enter hard mode. With Skeletron now dead, I had access to the dungeon. I'm only interested in two things, the Kobold Shield and the Muramasa. I found both of them in the first two chests. I dipped out of there, crafted myself the Obsidian Shield, and went into hell mining Hellstone, farmed some shadow chests, and crafted myself molten equipment. I then grabbed the Night's Edge components, running towards the nearest Crimson Altar, making the Night's Edge. In preparation for Deerclops, who spawns only at midnight during a blizzard in the tundra, I built some housing for a pylon and excavated the underground in search for ice gates. So far I had no luck finding them, and when I got the notification that slime started to rain from the sky, I instead tried out my new weapon on King Slime. He dropped a slimy saddle, my first mount in this playthrough, and an absolute beast and pretty funny mount for a strategy considering the queen bee. I then spent some time building a mob farm, blowing myself up in the process, building another lava pit trap and dying yet again, but this was my 50th death, by the way. Place your bets in the comments right now on how many times you think I will die, and stick around till the end of the video to find out how high I can push these numbers. With the mob farm working, I teleported back to it raining, which means there is a blizzard in the tundra. I waited for midnight and Deerclops to spawn. And this was my first time ever fighting him, but I figured out his attack patterns pretty fast. He shoots out ice around him, with a safe space being just a little bit above to the right or left of him. He also has these shadow hands that try to attack you, and in the second phase, these spawn in greater numbers and more frequently. Keeping my distance but not too far, since he becomes actually immune to damage if you're too far away, I defeated Deerclops on my first try, leaving only the queen bee and the wall of flesh before I enter hard mode. But there's still a little bit that I wanted to prepare before though. For example, I farmed shark fins in the ocean for the mega shark later on. I dug some tunnels around important places, like my base and the pylons, to prevent evil biomes from corrupting them, and then deforested my entire spawn to get enough wood to build my sky arena. I plan on fighting the mechanical bosses on that. I died twice while looking for bass statues in the desert, and then went on into the jungle to find a beehive, finding it this time pretty quickly. And since I like being efficient, I wanted to build an arena fit not only for Queen Bee, but later on Plantera as well, honoring a tradition of course by sacrificing myself to the dynamite gods. Afterwards I finished the arena. And with that I started the fight against Queen Bee. On Expert, she is pretty tough because every attack inflicts poison, but she's manageable. The mini shark in combination with the Knight's Edge just shred her into pieces, and her attack pattern is also pretty easy to memorize. For the first half of the fight she dashes exactly 3 times, relatively slow, straight at you. Afterwards she goes into her ranged attack mode. At one point she even completely stops moving, and that's where I go in and deal the big damage. After getting her below half health though, things escalate a little bit. She dashes way faster and more often too. I fought her a couple of times and beating her every single time for the beekeeper, and found an interesting strategy along the way. By standing straight below her after she dashes at you, while shooting her with the mini shark, she will descend. You then can jump on her head with the slime mount, swinging your blade, being dragged upwards, dealing tons of damage. With Queen Bee dead, I only had a few things left to do. I changed the biome in my mob farm to jungle in order to farm turtle shells in hard mode. I then started the wall of flesh arena, making it as long as possible. Went back into the underground tundra in search for the ice gates.
What did it cost?
Everything.
But here we are.
Bruh.
Frostbark boots.
Bruh.
And now it's time for the last fight and entering hard mode. I did everything I could and prepared enough. I have a mob farm, I have a big sky arena, I have a pylon system to traverse the overworld, a few elevators to stop the spreading of the biomes, and good equipment to survive the early hard mode ore grind. With that in mind, I spawned the wall of flesh. And here's how to kill it. Keep your distance, kill the hungries first, and then find the perfect spot to not get run over but being able to consistently damage the eyes. You can also be safer by shooting her with the mini shark and keeping your distance way longer, and maybe throwing some bee grenades that are overly overpowered, but with fast running boots and a potion of swiftness, you outrun the wall of flesh for long enough to defeat her. The wall then drops an expert exclusive item, the Demon Heart, granting me with another accessory slot. And now thrown into hard mode, I have 10 new boss fights in front of me. Queen Slime will be the first one. Then the 3 mechanical bosses, Plantera, Golem, Duke Fishron, the Empress of Light, and of course, Lunatic Cultist, and then the final boss, Moonlord. Before I can even attempt the first boss though, I need exactly 2 things. The first being the best hard mode ore armor I can get, and second of all, more mobility. Wings. First things first, I started smashing demon altars, just like you should smash that subscribe button. I then went on mining cobalt. Crafted a pickaxe, then mined orichalcum. Crafted a new anvil and pickaxe, then mined titanium. Mined even more titanium. Mined even more titanium. Crafted my titanium armor and started farming for Souls of Light for wings. I then dug more elevators to prevent the new biomes from spreading, farmed Cursed Flames and Souls of Night, turned the other side of my mob farm into a hallowed biome for Souls of Light. Back at spawn it was raining and a blood moon event was going on, so I spent some time at my lava pit trap and dropped actually a really good weapon, the Nimbus Rod. I then noticed my lava pit trap wasn't as safe as I thought it would be.
Oh my god.
Quickly fixed it and went on to reforge my new weapon. And I thought I could give the Nimbus Rod the Mythicum modifier, but 5 platinum and a quick wiki search later, I remembered being a certified idiot because you actually can't.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
So I spent some time at my mob farm for more Souls of Light and money, dying yet again by a hollowed mimic. By the way, that thing only attacks me because I have dart traps attacking it. Those dart traps are literally connected to a switch that I can turn on and off at will. So I chose to die like that by being an idiot. Anyway, I crafted wings.
Nice.
And with that, I had all I need to fight my first hard mode boss, Queen Slime.
Okay.
Equipped with every single buff potion I had, I spawned Queen Slime, luring her back to my Sky Arena for the health and armor buffs, and her first phase is almost the same as King Slime. She's fairly tame, the biggest issue is her spawning a boatload of slimes. Sometimes she spews out projectiles in a circle around her that you should dodge because it deals tons of damage. So as always, I kept my distance, and making sure I'm not getting overrun by the slime she spawns.
So far so good.
Her second phase is way scarier. She starts flying, becomes fast and is on collision course with me. So dodging becomes more important, turning the fight from a walk in a park to a bullet hell. This is also why you want to focus on her minions because you can get overwhelmed pretty easily. It took a while, but I managed to defeat Queen Slime on my first try,
Oh my god.
giving me enough confidence to try fighting my first mechanical bosses too, naming the twins. And I prepared myself with gathering potions and weapon imbuing flasks and spawned them as soon as I could. Yeah, that wasn't even close.
Okay.
I noticed 2 issues. One, my arena is actually pretty suboptimal to fight the twins, and second of all, I deal next to no damage. None. So I farmed more titanium, crafting the titanium repeater and set up a unicorn statue in order to farm unicorn horns for holy arrows. But here's the issue, the drop chance of unicorn horns from unicorns spawned from a statue is 5%, so forget about drop... What? No fucking way. That's like a 0.17% chance. Great. Perfect. There goes my luck for my entire life wasted on a video game. I went on and farmed some hallowed mimics by crafting Keys of Light, dropping the Daedalus Stormbow and better health potions, reforged all of my accessories to movement speed, and then spawned and died again to the twins.
No.
Changed the arena a bit, making me able to traverse a long distance in one direction, took every potion known to man, and decided to fight the Destroyer instead. And the trick to defeating the Destroyer is quite simple. Stay high up so it's hard for him to surround you, focus down his probes he's spawning so you don't get lasered to death, and rain hell on him with the Daedalus Stormbow combined with either hell or holy arrows. Just rinse and repeat. It may take a while due to his enormously large health bar.
That's what she said.
But eventually he will fall.
That was easy.
With the Souls of Might and Hallowed Bars, I crafted myself the Mega Shark, Excalibur, and Hallowed Repeater. Bought the Blendomatic, and with no consideration for nature whatsoever, I plastered my world with asphalt, so I can go really fast.
I'm fast as fuck, boy!
And with now better gear and a more suitable arena, I started my third attempt at the twins. The strategy for them is fairly easy. You focus Spasmatism first, the green one. Having asphalt and enough space to run away, I kept my distance far enough so Spasmatism couldn't hit me, outrunning his fiery breath in his second form also. Defeating him, I shifted my attention to his sibling, easily getting him into his second form too. Here is where I can't walk in a straight line anymore though. His lasers will eventually hit me. The trick is to fly circles around him.
I did it!
And with the twins now defeated, I tried to fight the destroyer again, dying twice in a row, once,
Because I'm stupid?
and
That was so fucking dumb. Why did I do that? Look at these hearts. Look at them. I could have just grabbed them and been fine, but no, I had to fucking go inside of the destroyer.
but 3 times the charm.
Finally.
And with the hallowed bars I acquired, I crafted myself the hallowed armor, preparing myself for the last mechanical boss, Skeletron Prime. Keeping my distance, running back and forth on my vertical highway, making it rain, alternating between the Daedalus Stormbow and my hallowed repeater. When he does a spin move is where the damage is, but other than that I kept my distance. It takes some time, but eventually Skeletron Prime falls as well.
Nice.
And with him dead and all of the other mechanical bosses defeated, I have all the materials I need to craft the true Knight's Edge, reforging it to legendary straight after. And with the jungle now growing restless and my next boss awaiting me already, Plantera. First of all, I farmed Chlorophyte for the new armor and better bullets. Gathered my buff potions, had a look at my accessories, and then found a bulb relatively close to my arena and jumped straight into the fight with a pretty rough start to it.
I'm fine! Really, I'm fine.
After finding my balance again, I flew circles around her. Her first phase is easy that way. She shoots these seeds at you that you can just dodge by just not standing still at all, and using the Mega Shark with Chlorophyte bullets, I can focus solely on flying around her and not getting hit. Also, don't get too close to the ground, she drops these jumping spikes that do tons of damage. Phase 2 is when things get tricky. Plantera turns into total Karen mode, getting up close and personal. The mini shark won't cut it any longer at this point because there's too many enemies to hit, so here I switch to the Knight's Edge. I try to keep my distance, moving away from her while doing my best in dodging her nubbins, and it was a pretty close fight, but in the end, I beat her on my first try.
Oh, I clenched my butt cheek so hard.
I also got a new pet.
Hell yeah, you're cute.
And with Plantera now dead, I had access to the Jungle Temple.
Wow.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Containing myself from rushing things, I farmed more Chlorophyte and live fruits first. I then got a surprise visit by the most annoying event ever, naming the solar eclipse.
Holy shit.
I waited in my lava pit trap until a Mothron spawned, killed it, but didn't get lucky in dropping the broken hero sword. I got a deadly spear staff though, and didn't have to wait too long for another Mothron to spawn. Killing it a second time, and this time getting lucky. I proceeded to kill a third one, dying shortly after. And again.
Holy shit.
And again.
Expert ain't that easy, bro.
Before being able to craft the Terra Blade. With a better melee weapon, I only had my accessories I could work on now. So I went mining through the underground, dying a bunch of times and not getting lucky in what I was hoping to find, resorting in shimmering my only magma stone I had to finally be able to craft Terra Spark boots. With now better equipment, better accessories, and way more health, I dared myself to touch the Jungle Temple again. Being as cautious as I can be, I made it through. And after building a quick arena, I drank my buff potions and started the fight against Golem. Golem has 2 phases, with a few additional attacks he starts using once he gets lower on health. First off, he tries his best to fist bump you for getting this far into the game, a real one, you know, but once he notices you're not there to share his success, but actually want to rob him off of his loot too, he starts pulling out the big guns. Rockets, lasers, you know, ancient technologies and shit. Dodging left and right is all you need to do, and then it's all about timing. Once he gets to half health, his second phase begins. His head detaches and starts floating above you, shooting lasers. But there's a rhythm to it. Walking in one direction until he shoots a laser, waiting for it to pass, and then immediately changing the direction should keep you from taking any damage. Just never stand still and you should be fine. I immediately tried again, because I didn't get the drop that I needed, the Sunstone. This time I completely underestimated his damage though, not really getting into the rhythm of dodging either, and then dying pretty quickly afterwards. I then farmed for the last turtle shells, crafted myself turtle shell armor, and then of course the beetle armor, and now the only things that I need are endgame accessories. A few things I can farm in the dungeon, but for the Celestial Shell I need to defeat Golem again though. My third attempt got cut short by me having the wrong equipment set equipped, but on my fourth attempt I was wearing the correct one, taking almost no damage, defeating Golem again, and getting the Sunstone that I needed.
Nice.
I for now crafted the Celestial Stone and set myself up for yet another boss I've never beaten before, Duke Fishron. I had no idea, literally no idea what I was doing, kept my distance at all costs, and figured some stuff out, like that he has different phases. In the second phase, for example, his eyes turn yellow and a few attacks change. And in the third phase, he completely loses his mind and starts phasing in and out of existence, getting super fast, dealing tons of damage. Who the fuck is supposed to beat that? Before trying again, I want to get some of my accessories in order. At least I want that Celestial Shell, like I said. But lucky for me, the last thing I need was the Moon Charm. This is dropped by werewolves during a full moon, and I just so happened to have one that night. For better chances, I even spawned a blood moon to increase the spawn rate. And I have sadly no recording of me actually crafting the Celestial Shell, but here it is shortly after in my inventory. I then cleansed my Tundra, the pylon hasn't been working since I entered Hardmode, and went on to farm prismatic lace wings for the Empress of Light and truffle worms for Duke Fishron. Topped off on life fruit, shimmered one of them to the Aegis fruit, boosting my defenses, and then I got held up by the worst trilogy known to man. I first got a solar eclipse, afterwards a blood moon, and then even calling it out, a pirate invasion, back to back.
What the fuck is going on?
After spending half an hour sitting in my lava pit trap, contemplating life and how I ended up here, I finally could leave and had my second attempt at killing Duke Fishron. But failed. I then waited for nighttime to get the werewolf buff. A little bit more health regen could mean the difference in this fight. I started to understand its first and second phase too, but got hit too much during the third and died again. I didn't waste any time though, chugging potions like that glass of cold water you had on a sunny day during summer break playing with your friends. And tried again. The first phase is pretty easy, I'm not getting hit, busting the bubbles, killing the sharks he spawns, while going in wide circles around him. During his second phase I stumbled, getting hit a couple of times, getting me pretty low. So I switched to the mini shark with glorified bullets, focused solely on dodging and regenerating health. I then regained all of my health back while getting the Duke to his third and final phase. And from here on out, it all came down to who can punch harder and take more damage. I came out on top. Literally, it sounded like I busted a nut or something, but I was really happy, especially since the Duke dropped his mount.
Oh.
I was on a high, you could call it the post-Duke clarity, and I felt ready to take on the Empress of Light.
Holy sh**.
Yeah, as expected. But not only did I get humbled, I also noticed a few issues. One, I was simply too slow and clumsy in the air. Second, I had not enough space to dodge all of the attacks of Empress of Light. And 3, knockback is my worst enemy in the Empress of Light fight. 1 and 3 I could fix immediately. 2 would take me some time. I created a whole new hallowed biome next to the ocean, built housing for easier access, and then tried again. And while definitely a better attempt, me not having enough mobility in the air will always cost me my life in this fight. I tried for a third time, getting her barely below half health, and decided to finally get all of my accessories in check. I crafted myself the Ankh shield, the Ankh shield, crafted myself the Master Ninja gear, finally retiring the Shield of Cthulhu.
My time has come. You must continue your journey without me.
I then tried the Empress again for the 4th time, and while getting closer, I was still too slow.
Close. We're getting better.
My plan was then to fish in Sky Lakes for another shiny red balloon so I could get like a quadruple jump going, but then it started to rain.
It's raining.
And it clicked in me.
Good sign.
I already had the best mobility in the air you could ask for, especially during rain, the Duke Fishron mount. Grabbing every potion in existence, checking on my equipment and accessories again, I tried fighting the Empress of Light for the 5th time, and Duke Fishron's mount immediately changed the fight. I wasn't getting hit in her first phase. I entered her second phase on full health.
No way.
With the Empress of Light defeated, there was only 2 more bosses to go, the Lunatic Cultist and Moonlord himself. I reforged the Starlight that the Empress of Light dropped to Legendary and went on to fight the Lunatic Cultist. And with my current equipment, he was pretty easy. He's generally speaking more of a pushover boss. He has a few scary attacks that can be dodged by simply flying circles around him. And the only thing you really need to look out for is his triangular event. I have no clue how to call that, but you'll get what I mean. And I give you a split second to figure out which of these 3 is the real one. One could imagine that it's the one with the open arms, right? Because he looks different. But it's actually that little golden line that tells you who the real one is. And once you see it, it's actually easy to distinguish. I fucked up once making him spawn as dragon, but it was already way too late in the fight for him to have any impact, and I defeated the Lunatic Cultist, starting the Moonpillar stage, dying immediately to the worst enemy in existence. Fuck that thing. My strategy to the Moonpillars is as follows. I start with the Stardust Pillar, abducting one of the star cells, killing it and letting it reproduce until the barrier is broken. Then I fly circles around the pillar while attacking it, dying just after destroying it, just like I planned. Going back, grabbing the Stardust Fragments and crafting the Stardust Dragon, reforging it to Mythical. Then I went for the Nebular Pillar. The Stardust Dragon handles most of the enemies himself, rinse and repeat the same strategy for the other 2 pillars as well, and with impending doom approaching, I remember standing here before. The very first time I ever played Terraria, I made it this far too, to Moonlord, but I never managed to defeat him on Expert, eventually giving up and even stopped playing the game for almost a year.
There's nothing more I can do.
But this time, it will be different.
Oh, fuck. No, 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 no. So far, so good. We can do this. We can do this. Ow. Oh god, I'm so hungry. Oh, fucking no. No. So close.
My second attempt wasn't any better. Even after reforging all of my equipment to damage and melee speed, I didn't get even close. I needed to maximize my equipment to its full potential. The Ankh Shield just doesn't give me any benefit besides a knockback protection, so I went ahead and farmed the Frozen Turtle Shell and crafted the Frozen Shield. I then killed the Lunatic Cultist again, setting up hard statues on my Sky Highway, destroyed the Solar Pillar again, and crafted the game-changing weapon I wholeheartedly recommend for you as well, the Daybreak. With the last pillar destroyed again, impending doom was upon me once more, and now with so many potions in my system I could piss in rainbow colors, more weaponry on my hands than a prepper from North Dakota, and ice out accessories making Flavor Flav jealous, the fight started.
Oh my god.
I did it. I finally beat Terraria on Expert mode, something I never did before.
Oh, we did it.
This is where my journey first started and ended without any satisfaction. I came back and proved myself I could do it. Not only that, I defeated every boss in the game. Besides one. But that's another story. Oh yeah, the final answer. How often did I actually die in this playthrough?
111 times. That's a nice number. I can live with that.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, you probably enjoyed this one too. It's my first time beating Terraria and how to craft the Zenith. And if you don't want to miss any of my future uploads, consider subscribing. Until then, I hope to see you next time. Bye.